Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
We'll start officially. Welcome to A Creator-Based Life, the weekly podcast for CMH Coaching. We empower women of faith to create the lives they love, the lives they have always wanted. And I'm here with the beautiful Jacine Bonnet in her beautiful red sweater. She is a mom, a grandma, an avid runner, and Jen DeRoos in that amazing cowl neck, who is a coach, a can grow anything gardener, and a hypnotherapist. And I'm Beth, a master life coach and the creator of the Creator-Based Way. Create your one awesome, amazing, perfectly incredible life. Because that's what we'll help you do with the Creator-Based Way. It is a really exciting life, and you are the only one that gets to create it yourself. Beautiful. So it's the season of fresh starts, right? Mm-hmm. We're all wrapped up in January. But it's also flu season. It's the fresh starts and the flu. They go together. Fresh starts and the flu. So my sweetheart is sick for the second week in a row. Mm-hmm. Sure, he's dying on the couch, watching do-it-yourself, fix your cars and build things, take apart your cabinets and rebuild them videos all day long. He doesn't have the flu. He just had a respiratory bug that's just going on and on and on. But my inaugural week has been kind of slow because every time I walk through there, it's just slow. Got that, whatever we're going to do. How's your inaugural week been, the first week of the new year? It's a full week. Today's the 8th.
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
It is. We've been up and running with our clinics, and we are in the middle of having the interior of our house painted. So it's a fresh start, a fresh color.
Literally fresh, right?
Yeah. Moving from like a darker, it's not a dark brown, but medium brown on our walls to woolly white on our walls.
I bet it's just beautiful.
So it will be. I'm excited.
I can't wait to see it. How about you, Jen? How's your week been?
Well, so far, so good.
Yep. We have Mastermind tonight. I'm really excited about Mastermind. Sue Pine is coming to teach laughter yoga to our Mastermind group. And I just can't wait. It's going to be like the perfect way to start the year, right? To learn laughter yoga. It's just so good. And it's so good for your health because we thrive on joy. That's what we're created for. Yeah. It's beautiful. And for love, to feel loved, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a beautiful thing. One of my favorite authors is Henry Nouwen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but I love him. I fell in love with him because of his humility. His name is spelled Henri, like it should be Henri, And he's like, no, it's just Henry. It's just Henry. And his last name, Nouwen, like it should be really exotic. He's like, no, it's just Henry Nouwen. Because he just is who he is. And he's just so connected with love and the Love of Life. He's just a wonderful, wonderful author.
Mm.
One of the things that he says is the question about life. The question is not how am I to love God? Because don't we get all wrapped up in trying to just be as loving as we possibly can? And sometimes we become unloving because we're trying to love so hard. The question is not how am I to love God, but how am I to let myself be loved by God?
Mm.
And when that just flipped my head around. What do you guys think? How am I to let myself be loved by God? Well, what's that say to you?
I think sometimes it feels like you have to do something to earn the love, right?
Yeah.
Or to be worthy of that, to be worthy of being in his presence, being loved by him. And the older I get and the more I learn about love, and even having experiences with my children who don't always, and my grandkids, and my pet dog and my horses, and all these
Yeah.
things, right? They don't have to earn my love. I just love them. And I've had children that have pushed back on that love, like that they don't want to let me love them because they don't feel lovable. And so I think that sometimes I find myself in that same state with God that, well, I don't feel very lovable by him, and it's not that he doesn't love me, it's I'm not accepting his love. And how do I get into that state of feeling like I'll let him? Yeah.
Like I'll let him in. Yeah. How do I? Well,
Choosing
because you
let
can
him in.
say, how do I let myself be loved by anybody? Right?
Mhm.
How do I let myself be loved by my children? It's a little easier with your kids because you just love them so much, but with your friends or your family or your husband or your partner, how do I let myself be loved? What do you think, Jen?
Oh, lots of things. I'm with JC too, like, because I don't know. I grew up and we learn about these things by how we are loved or what the experiences that we grow up in.
Yeah.
And it was a very transactional relationship about love in my family. And so that's something that I just equated to God, that it was going to be
That he was a
transactional.
transactional God, but he's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I have to be a certain way to get certain something from him. And so this like unconditional love you no matter what just is really hard for me sometimes to grasp. And so that's what I have been trying to learn about in my adult years, is that. And just like, somebody can just love me because it's me,
Yes.
and it's always for somebody else, but not for me, so I'm trying to unpack that belief that's instilled deep within me, that I have to be worthy of it, or I have to have value, or, it's that transactional part of the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea of how do I let somebody love me for me?
Mhm.
That's really well said. That is good.
Mhm.
So one of the ways that I've been learning is one of the things that I've discovered is when I listen to people and really listen and just give them just open-ended, let them talk. In general, when they're telling me about the things that are bothering them, it's because that's their judgment of themselves,
Mhm.
just in general. Like when we don't feel lovable, we don't feel like it's because we've judged ourselves unlovable, right?
Mhm.
And so one of the things that I've been practicing with is not judging, which has been a really interesting experience, because when I decided that I didn't want to play judge anymore, that I was going to let God judge and do what he wanted to do and suspend judgment in large measure. Obviously, you can't suspend judgment on everything, right? You're not going to walk off the end of the bridge.
Right.
But suspend judgment as much as I can, and decided I didn't want to play that role of judge, then love just came flooding in. And that really surprised me, that I was blocking the love that I was feeling because of the judgment that I was sending out. Have you guys got any experience like that? I mean, that was a real new one for me. that I was literally making my own wall up against with judgment, whether it was self-judgment or perceived judgment of others, which ultimately really was a self-judgment to begin with.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
because if you
wild.
say, "Oh, how could God love me?" That's a judgment, a self-judgment of not enough. And I kind of
Right.
mind to see like doors shut on God's love because I'm not accepting, I'm not allowing him to do what he says he can do for me, which is really kind of like, who am I to tell God that he can't love me? So it's just kind of like this weird thing going on in my brain,
Right. Well, and who am I to tell my boss or my husband or my kid or
Yeah.
my anybody, my
Mhm.
friend?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's really interesting choosing not to play judge. JC, do you have times when you have chosen not to play judge or an
Yeah,
experience?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Over the
Over the
over
holidays. That's right. You had a whole bunch of family in town. You got to have practice. I forgot about
oh,
that. Yes.
lots of practice. Yeah, lots of practice. And it was cool because going into it, I had had private conversations with a couple of different members of the family that were key players. And in doing that, having that discussion about this is what I'm going to choose to do. This, and that's how I approached it. This is what I'm going to choose to do with all of these people. I'm giving them permission to be human. And
Uh,
and it's just, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm probably going to be tired or hungry or cranky or just whatever. But
yeah.
I'm going to give, if that happens to you and you say something and it offends me, I'm going to choose not to get offended. I'm going to choose to give you permission to be human because you are, and I'm human. So, and it
So
went,
we just be human together.
yeah, so let's just be human together. And I think when we do that, that that helps me not to judge is when I can give people permission to be human. And
Yeah.
it is a beautiful place. It helps me to love. It helps me to feel love instead of frustration or annoyance. Less eye rolling, less less off the side conversations and
The
that those.
conversations of I wonder why or how come they or trying to figure out so that you can excuse something that offended you,
Mhm.
where your brain gets really busy and you're trying to figure out all the ways that that could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on inside of them of why they would react that way. And sometimes it's really easy to see the little child in them. You're like, oh my gosh, that tantrum is not the adult. That's a little child. Have,
Uh-huh.
have you ever witnessed that?
Oh yeah.
That's the
Uh-huh.
little
I
child not
have.
getting, like not feeling seen or not getting what they need. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Mm.
when we suspend that and we just let people be human beings, it
Mhm.
leaves us in a really quiet, loving space. This is really, really interesting. I don't know how long I'll continue with the non-judgment experiment, but it's fruitful for sure. Because in every single situation through the holidays, it's love was the answer. Just
Mhm.
permission to be human, just like you said, just
Mhm.
and then you feel loved by whomever you're with or by God. It's a great feeling. Yeah. The other thing that I noticed with the non-judgment experiments is how much room it leaves for possibility.
Mm.
I think maybe you experienced that too, JC, with your family, right? So I
Oh,
remember talking about it, the idea of possibility. What happened with that?
just having that idea of what if this goes way better than I thought it would go, than I
Yeah.
think it will go, right? Like, holy smokes, that was a concept I hadn't considered before. And it just kind of hit me in the head because it was so many past experiences gone wrong,
Yeah.
right?
And the recording all comes up when you get together,
Oh,
Yeah.
heaven, yes. And even like with my husband and I talking about it beforehand, it was cool because we both recognized the space where we had been judgmental, that even though it was hurtful, right? And even though it was painful, but we hadn't let it go. And that was, oh my gosh, 30 years ago,
Years and years ago, right?
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
we
and
don't let
then
it go.
something
Yeah.
else, right? And then something else happens, and so you just build that case, right? You're
Mhm.
this lawyer, the lawyer inside of me builds this case, and it
And
really,
puts it on autopilot replay. Boy, that's
right,
the worst when it's autopilot replay. Yep.
right, and just being able to come together, he and I, and just have this pact that we're going to let bygones be bygones, and we're going to have a fresh start. Here we are again, fresh start.
Yeah, fresh start.
And
2024, it's a fresh start.
And then what if, having that thought and playing with that thought, what if it does go better than we think it will? And it did. And then coming back and reviewing it afterwards and talking about it and saying, wow, that was really cool. I want to do that again instead of, oh my gosh, it's another 30 years. That would be too soon, right?
Oh my gosh, I can't do this for another 30 years. That's right.
Woo. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's true though. When I first started to practice with this, I couldn't do it for more than like a minute. It almost was like a meditation. Okay, I'm going to suspend judgment. And then my brain would just run off to, like when we started the podcast, my husband's on the couch, sure he's going to die. Instant judgment, right? Irritation for me. But it's just all about my own personal judgment. And so when I first started it, I just tried to practice it, but I couldn't not judge. I just couldn't not judge. And then I got down on myself because I couldn't not judge. So I would just practice for 3 minutes at a time, or for 10 minutes at a time, or just noticing when I was judging, just being kind, and taking care of it. It was really interesting. I had no idea how much I judged in my brain. What do you think, Jen?
Well, I think it's natural for us to judge because we have to make decisions in our life. It's just I think this is like a different type of judgment. This is like an
Yes.
accusation type of judgment. It's like
Agreed.
I'm either like demonizing somebody or making them like less than. I'm creating
Or
some
more than,
It's
way
critical,
more than,
right?
or way less
yeah,
than.
yeah. And so I mean, we have to make judgment. Our brain does it all the time. But
Right.
it's like being able to distinguish, is this just a judgment because I'm gonna go get a drink of water now because I'm thirsty? You just see what I'm saying? Or like, do I grab a juice instead? It's like those type of judgments.
Right.
This is a different type of judgment, I think.
I think it's totally a different kind of judgment. How would we call it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody out there has figured it out.
Yeah, if y'all know the title of that kind of judgment,
Mhm.
Well, now that we're talking about that, like with Mark being a cop for 30 years and all of the victims that he came across, right? And in his line of business, oftentimes he would hear that victim say, I saw that person and I had the feeling I should have gone the other direction. Or I saw this and I had the feeling this. So the feeling. So it's really important. I don't want any of our listeners out there to disregard that because that comes from God. That is direction to keep us safe. And so learning, I think it's really important for us to learn how to discern and distinguish those judgments, right? Is what am I feeling? What is my body telling me? What is my heart telling me? What is my head telling me? And going with that versus the other judgment. I had an experience when I was running, and I would run in the dark at 5 a.m. with my flashlight. And there was one house, when I would pass it, I knew somebody was always outside smoking on their front porch. I could smell the smoke as I would run by. And we were in the country, a gravel road I'm running on. And I would always get, just heightened alert, right? On that.
Yeah.
And he came out to the mailbox to get his paper one morning. and just waved to me and was smiling and was friendly. I had my dog with me, and I think pets are really good. My dog wasn't alerted or freaked out by him at all, but in my mind, I have this judgment. Oh, here's this guy, he just mountain man, just kind of, this judgment in my mind. And as I continued my run, I had the experience of that enlightenment come to me that was like, this is not someone to be fearful of. This person is safe. Yet I've had other experiences where it was, yes, you
stopping,
run
don't go there.
now.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Stop or turn around or whatever. And so
Yeah.
learning to distinguish those two things is really, really important.
Mhm.
And pay attention. Pay
Well,
attention.
the best way to be able to distinguish those things is to have your heart in a loving place, in a peaceful, loving place. And then when something like that comes up, it's marked and you know to act on it immediately.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So one of the other ways to have our heart in a loving place is to decide not to worry. Can we talk just for a few minutes about, because worry is a form of judgment, right? It's really good for those of us who are creative. It's really easy for us to go into worry because we're great storytellers. And it's kind of a default for our brain, right? Because our brain's out there scanning the horizon, making sure it keeps us safe. So we can begin to worry really quickly. And then we create that fear and that anxiety, or maybe the anger and the betrayal, because we're telling ourselves stories. So what do you guys do to kind of protect yourself and work with worry? Because that's another really important part to keeping our heart in a loving place, to feeling loved, to be able to get that intuition and that enlightenment that's so important as we work our way through our days. What do you do?
I've kind of been doing something that's I don't know if it's really helping me yet. So just take this with a grain of salt. This
All
is
right,
me
it's a new idea.
Me trying to figure out what's going on inside my head. Because I come from a worry ward. That's what we call my mother. She's worried about everything. So a little bit we learned a little bit from her.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've started to do is to recognize what I'm worrying about is a future thing. I have no control over what's going to happen. So just understanding that and understanding that it is something that's coming from my brain. And then what I do is I just start to make the most outrageous stories of where this can go.
Oh, fun.
So it's just like, just like totally just weird stuff. So I'm trying to tell my brain it can go any way, it can go anywhere, and you have no control of it. So I'm just trying to, and after a while I laugh about it and it's gone. So I don't know what that's all about. So I'm trying
but
to
it's
figure
making it playful, right? You make it playful.
And making it just almost like into this fantastical story that could be some movie that would never, you see what I'm saying? It's just like, there's no reality to it. So
I love that.
But I don't know. I mean,
fantastical and just funny.
Out of the world, funny, and just like, ending up being related to like the Queen of England or something. Those stories, those weird, those things. So my brain is just like, this just could never, ever, ever work out. And then the story kind of like fizzes out.
And then there's the flip side, which I know Jacine has said more than once, but what if it's wonderful?
Yeah. What if it's wonderful?
What if it's good?
Wonderful?
Yeah. I loved, years ago, we started watching This Is Us, and it was
I love that show. That was so fun.
One of the things that I loved about it is you had a husband and wife, and one of their go-to things was worst case scenario. So kind of like you're saying, Jen.
Like Jen's storytelling.
Yes. And just being able to speak it to another person, just like, okay, you tell me, what are you thinking here? What's the worst case scenario? And like the story is like really over the top, ridiculous. And then, the husband shares and then the wife shares, okay, this is what mine is. And then they both look at each other and they're just like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
It's probably not going to be that. It's probably going to be way better than that.
But it lets it go. And so that was something that we tried for a while. Mark and I had tried for a while, and it was like really kind of cool. It's like, okay, what are you thinking?
Just let it go. Because really, it's only a thought, right? And a thought can be changed. That's like one of my most powerful thoughts that I have is it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed.
Mm-hmm.
The thought only has as much power as I give it. And so I'm the creator, and I get to choose what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to discard and what power I'm going to give to that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. And boy, just choose a thought that feels better. And obviously the ones with humor really do make you feel better, right? I know I've told you guys the stories before where I'll call Aubrey when I'm freaked out, and I'll say, that's it. We're just all everything's gonna fall apart, and I'm gonna die under a bridge. Gonna just take my little paper bag of my possessions, and I'll have to live under the bridge, and I'm just gonna die under the bridge. And the first time she said to me, well, Mom, don't build the bridge. I just didn't get it at all. I'm like, what do you mean don't build the bridge? She's like, well, if there's no bridge, you can't die under the bridge. And so I had to ponder on that for a long time, but my thoughts were creating the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't build the bridge. And so often when I start to worry in that tumble and things begin to escalate, that thought will come to me. Don't build the bridge. Go think about something else. Like something funny or something outrageously worst case scenario. But when I can short circuit the worry, then I can feel the love. Because the love is always there, right? It's just always there. It's surrounding us in nature. It's surrounding us in family. It's just always there. If we turn the other stuff off, then the love is right there. The endless possibility of love.
It keeps coming back to where's your focus, right?
Yes.
All of it is where's your focus? Is it me-centered? Is it God-centered? Where is that focus, and what am I going to feel when my focus is pointing all towards me? It's that anxiety, just like in CMH coaching, the creator-based way, that's something that is taught all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's all of those things.
You want an outcome focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the out focus obviously focuses outward. Mm-hmm. So we pick what our outcome is, whether our outcome is love or peace or building a bridge or keeping love or whatever it is. It's always an outcome focus that will get us what we want. Because ultimately what we want is love and peace and harmony and contentment and health and good sleep, and to be comfortable. Those are all things we want. So when we're in an outcome focus, we can choose the thoughts to create that. Jen, you have a lot of experience in that outcome focus. What have you learned with that?
Huh. I'm all like,
Just think
Sorry,
about,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I know you do it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Even let's go back to the jump start that you did on Saturday, your portion of it. For me, that was super, super powerful. Just that exercise is so outcome focused, right? We had to choose a statement. So share a little bit about that.
Yeah. Can you just review it?
Well, it's actually, I think it's actually something that you can learn to be as a skill. I mean, I didn't realize I was not outcome focused person, that I was always focusing on the past and what went wrong and how wrong I was, instead of like outward looking for possibilities and looking for experiences and looking for that. And just with the jump start, it was just learning to train your brain to look for the possibility, look for the outcome. And in doing so, though, you have to be careful not to focus strictly on the arrival, because you're going to arrive eventually. You can get almost like stuck in arrival destination issue, and where it's like you get frustrated because you're not there already. You're in process. So you step
in process. You want to focus on the
look
process.
At your process and your effort. And I really loved how JC in the beginning of it was talking about how John C. Maxwell does his end of year stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do end of week and end of month to
Yeah.
keep to kind of keep that like,
Yep.
okay, look how far you've come, or look where maybe you had your little struggle.
Mhm.
And so that helps me, I think, to keep that effort focus, that procedure
Mhm.
process focus instead of, oh, I'm not there yet. Oh, I'm not there yet. Oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not that. I'm not that. No, you will become that if
You
you
will. Yeah,
focus
one of my
on
favorite ways to work with my week is to spend Friday just reviewing what went well this week, right? What am I most proud of? What went well? And then Sunday, what is my outcome for the week going to be? What am I doing? And what's my focus?
You
Yeah.
taught me that. What went well? You taught me
Yeah.
that phrase, and it really shifted a lot for me because, you know, I can sit and complain about a lot of things. I mean, that's what I trained myself to look at. That's just who I was.
Well, that was what was modeled for you. You're just working on it.
And
Yeah.
and you did that, and so you can fix something. And I was never like really taught to look on, well, what was the good stuff? What went well? And then you start to realize there's a lot that went well, but
A
you
lot
don't
went well.
focus
And when
on
we're
that.
looking at what went well, we're not judging and we're not worrying and we're
Mhm.
feeling the love.
And
Yeah.
when you look at what went well, it changes, it almost like balances that teeter-totter. And you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I do have a lot of good, or I can do a lot of good. I am able, I am powerful, I can do this, you know, I have ability. So yeah. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
what you that's what you
And the endless
Yeah.
possibilities.
I love it.
Yeah, so many. So endless possibilities. Choose the ones that help you feel loved and secure because it's only a thought and a thought can be changed. We're creators by heritage, right? The second principle in creator-based coaching, first is I am the creator of my own life experience. But the second is I have within me light and truth, all the power I need to grow and progress. We have power. We're powerful people and we get to choose. And so we can choose. We can choose worry. We're good at it. It's been modeled. It's modeled all the way through our society for us. Or we can choose an outward focus for something that we really want, a possibility or a loving experience. Or what if it's wonderful?
Mhm.
Yeah. So should we try that this week? We'll just play with it. What if it's wonderful? And let's see what happens.
I like it.
Good to be back. We'll be back again next Monday, same time, same bat channel. But before that happens, tonight we have Mastermind, and I'm stoked about laughter yoga. And tomorrow we have Coach and Clear, which will be equally wonderful. I just can't wait to see what that group of faith-filled women brings. And Wednesday, there's book club, yeah?
There's
What are we
book
doing for book club this week?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this book. I already started it. It's so good. It's the power of moments. So it's focusing on moments that happen, but what if you create moments?
I love that. All right, I'm gonna have to pull that up on Kindle. I didn't even know about that one yet.
So it is, let me do a
Who
screen
wrote it?
here. So you guys have it.
I think it's two
is
brothers that wrote
Chip,
it.
yep, Chip Heath and Dan Heath. Yep.
All right.
So it is a
Chip
beautiful.
and Dan Heath. That's
Yep.
a great name.
Yep.
Power of Moments. Available on Amazon right here in my phone. So my cart. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's
That's
so
right.
good. It's
It is so good.
love it,
Yes.
love it, love it.
And if you didn't catch the Inspired Goals Jumpstart on Saturday, I think it was one of the best we've ever done. So find it and watch it. It's there for you on the 50/50 Girl page, and it's going to be so great. You'll love it that you watched it, and that's really part of it. And then coming up the first weekend in February, there's another one, but I'm not going to tell you about it because I want to keep you in suspense. But it'll be a really good one. I know that. So till next time.
And then big news. We're
Big
doing
news.
an anxiety master.
Oh my gosh, I forgot the
Coming up
anxiety
February
masterclass.
8th. Yes.
That is huge. Okay, Jacine, wait, 2 minutes. Tell us about the anxiety masterclass. I completely forgot to bring that in. And it's huge. It is so cool.
It is really huge. It's really huge. So mark your calendars. Part of it is if you're tired of that constant chaos that's in your mind, you
It's
just want to
noise
say,
in there.
right, say goodbye to the anxiety. And then what if you could just say hello to a life filled with joy and calm and self-confidence and do it in the creator-based way? So come and join us. Mark your calendars. We'll be and check your email, check your Facebook, check the Facebook
It'll be
page.
on Eventbrite as well for those of you
Right,
that love
yeah.
Eventbrite. But it's a 6-week class, and it's 6 good classes that will help you come into your present self and the person that you really want to be, and find that outcome base and find that peace and work through the things that are hard, because they're hard on purpose. That's how we grow. So we're gonna learn together, and we're gonna create that peace that Jacine's talking about. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
That's really important. So the 8th of February, that's the kickoff. Is that a Thursday? I'm thinking that's a Thursday night.
I believe it is.
Thinking that's a Thursday
Wait.
night. It'll be 7 Central.
It is Thursday night. Yep.
Yeah. And it'll be live, and we'll be doing it. So information forthcoming, but mark the calendar because you don't want to miss it. All right. Beautiful, beautiful day. Beautiful week. Stay warm. Yep.
It's going to be in the negatives at my house. Thursday,
Oh, girlfriend.
Saturday, -13 on Saturday.
Oh, stay warm.
Yeah.
You'll have all those beautiful white walls to look at.
Yes.
Warm, beautiful stuff. That'll be great. All right. Well, great to see you. I'll see you again soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on linktree/cmhcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Moment by moment, it's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.